Here we are live, ladies and gentlemen. It is February 8th. Happy Love Week, right? It's leading up to Valentine's Day. Everyone's on board with that. And this is ProbateData Powergym. We're going to be spending the next 30 minutes or so together. Before we jump into this, just put in the chat two things. A, that you can hear me and see me, but also if you're brand new, this is your first time on a ProbateData Powergym, let us know. Just say, yeah, I'm new. It's first time here. Or if you recently signed up, let us know as well. Or if you just want to say hi, say hi. So let's see. Terry says he can hear me and see me. That's good. Hey, Terry. Anyone new in here? Any new names or faces? Rose, are you new? Not really, sort of.
Kind of last week, first week.
Last week, first week. All right. So you're still playing with the bubble wrap, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay. Which county are you joining us from, Rose?
Riverside.
Riverside. All right. Good. Good, good, good. We got some good leads out there. Okay. So today, so for those that are new, like Rose, I see a couple other new names here. Scott is also new, just signed up. So let me give you a quick 2-minute rundown of what usually happens and what you just signed up for, obviously. So if you just signed up, you're either on a free trial or you just signed up for Probate Data. We want to welcome you, obviously. And then you get to pick up to 3 counties that you can subscribe to. And from those 3 counties, we're going to start emailing you right away. When the same day of you signing up, we're going to email you that first batch into your inbox. So there's 2 ways you get leads. One is in your inbox directly. We email you saying, hey, we got new leads for you. You click on the link and you download it. You get those leads right away. So for those of you that just joined this week, you should have gotten that initial welcome email. If you did not, for some strange reason, you just email support@ProbateData. That'll take care of that. And then in addition, what you can do, and we're going to go over that today a little bit, you can always log into our database directly inside of Probate Data. We have over 500,000 cases in there. And we have, I know, for example, on Riverside, we go back several years worth of cases. You can go in there and you can actually download cases that were filed a long time ago, but haven't been settled yet. And the property still needs to be sold. That's called historical prospecting. We're a big fan of that. And that means basically you go back 12, 18 months because 10 to 15% of cases, they take longer than 12 months. So if you go back 12, 18 months, 24 months even, and you look for cases there, and then you can click a little button that says show the last sale date as of today. And if the last sale date wasn't within the last 18 to 24 months, whatever your parameter was, then you can start prospecting on them. So I'll show you today how to do that. We're going to pick, let's say we'll pick Riverside. Scott, where are you joining us from? Maybe we can do one of your counties as well. You just type it in if you want. Okay.
North Oakland, Oakland County, Macomb County, Michigan.
Michigan. Okay, got it. Got it. Okay, excellent. Okay, last week I forgot to record. The reason I record these, I'm recording now, is we put all our classes on our YouTube channel. I'll put that in the chat. It's youtube.com/ProbateData. There it is, youtube.com/ProbateData. Definitely write that down, copy, paste it. You can go into our playlist there. You can see we've done interviews with past clients, best practices. We've also done some deep dive on different things you can do with Probate Data. There's also one called the Golden Leads, which is historical leads. And that's basically going back in time and how to download those and why they're valuable. And then usually, so what I'll do is I'll spend a little bit of time on doing how to use the leads and where you can get access to them for new folks inside of Probate Data. And then I'll spend some time on just Q&A, but sometimes I get emails throughout the week. So a theme that's been happening this last week, people email me to info@ProbateData, has been about lead management. So I've been getting emails from people that have been getting like, I got 50 leads, I got 100 leads. Someone even said, I got 400 leads, I need more leads. So when I ask them, how are you following up? What are you doing with your leads? They usually tell me it goes into a black hole called a spreadsheet or a CRM, and they email them once, they call them once, and that's it. So the name of the game in probate is, just like in any kind of real estate, is follow-up. The more you follow up, the more likely you are to actually get things done with them. And like Mike Torres liked to teach, if you took his class in CPRES, and it's also general knowledge around sales, 86% of your closes, whether you're closing for an appointment, let's say in this case, an appointment, listing appointment, happens between the 7th and the 12th contact. And most agents give up after the 4th contact. So contact could be an email sent, letter sent, phone call, text message, door knock. Those are 5 contacts right there, right? And most people give up after that. And what's really important to understand in probate real estate is, depending on when they filed, if it's a brand new fresh case, they just filed, they're just figuring out what the hell is going on. What is this thing called petitioner? All of a sudden grandma named me like executor, right, of the will. What does that even mean? And there's all kinds of requests coming in from creditors, and banks want their money. They're just wrapping their mind around what is going on. They may not even be thinking about selling the property. So those first 30 days when you're contacting them, you might just want to reach out and say, hey, I have a network of professionals that'll be able to help you. I noticed that grandma's property is a little deferred maintenance there. Have you changed the locks yet? Do you need a little bit of trash removal? Besides real estate, I have a whole network of professionals that can help you with this. This is what comes with our territory when you're a certified probate real estate specialist. So that's the type of conversation. If you get cases that are 60 days, or older, the conversation is a little bit different. You can talk more about your property, because at this point, they realize that one of several things: they don't have enough money in the checking accounts to pay for all the bills, which is often the case for this generation. They were property rich and cash poor when they passed away. They probably owned their property that they lived in, and maybe even other properties. But they traded their health in for wealth, so to speak. And now to pay for all the bills, the PR is sitting there like, okay, well, what do we have to do? Most likely we're going to sell the real estate. 60 days and over, like 90 days plus, that's when things get a little bit tighter. They get a little bit more overwhelmed, a little bit more stressed. And that's where you're in your phone conversations, you can be more direct about the property and whether they want to sell it and rent it out, what their intentions are. So those are like the three markets that Mike Torres talks about in CPRES, the 30, 60, and 90-day market, right? So if you just signed up for Probate Data and you got your email from us with all your leads in it, you can start downloading those leads and prospect, right? And every time we send you leads, you will get leads from that point onward, from that filing date onward. So let's just say, Rose, you got Riverside, and the furthest back to filing date went was maybe January 5th, right? So from January 5th onward going forward, we will send you emails after January 5th filing date. You'll keep getting those leads and you'll keep getting those emails. So as soon as we get it, we'll email it to you as well in your email inbox. So then the question is, well, what about going further back? And that's why you want to have access to probate data. And that's why you can still download another 100 cases. And you can go back prior to January 5th. So you can go into the market of like December, November, get more leads there, right? And you can start prospecting. When you can go in and find cases that are like 90 days old, and you can start calling on them and talk more directly about what is your decision around the property. So before I get into probate data, I just want to see there's some questions that came up here on the side. Clayton's saying, Clayton, which state are you in? Which county, Clayton?
I'm in Michigan, Wayne County and Macomb County specifically. Oakland County courthouse is closed, so Wayne and Macomb.
Got it. Okay, so that's the same situation as Scott, basically. So the question here is, when I receive the alerts, so Clayton, are you getting alerts or are you getting the emails directly with the leads?
I'm getting the I guess the email alert that's saying 40 or 30 cases have been filed, then I can download either the spreadsheet or the PDF file.
That's the lead delivery. Yeah, so you're getting a lead delivery. So here's the thing, especially with Michigan, we get in maybe once a month to get those cases because there's closures, there's restrictions. You basically have to know someone to get in there, kind of a thing. And so some counties around the country, they're very restrictive, and others are a little bit more loose about it. And we get in there about once a month. So when we send them out, it's usually towards the last third of the month or towards the end of the month or beginning of the next month. So in that case, you might have to, rush out your marketing and start calling on them. I don't think all of them are sold or listed at that point, but maybe a good part of them are. And also what might work for you, Clayton is, and for Scott as well, as doing the historical prospecting, going back further in time and looking for the last sale date of the property and then cross-referencing that. And we'll do that in just a minute. Rose is asking, do you suggest that we send a CMA of the property when we mail the letter? That's a great question. Let's talk about that for a second before we dive into some of the other stuff. So we talk about probate CMAs. So probate CMA is basically the value of the property when the person passed away versus when you're going to go out and sell it. So a lot of times people pass away and they don't file for probate for years because they don't have to. There's no need, right? So if grandpa passed away and it's fully paid off and all the family has to do is pay property taxes, they might want to, live there for a while. So they could be there for a handful of years before they want to sell it. Well, when grandpa passed away and then 5 years later, has the market changed? Absolutely. And there's going to be a tax consequence there. So one of the things you can lead with when you talk to them, depending on you seeing when the case was filed and when the decedent passed away, you could say, well, there might be some tax consequences here. I'm not sure, I'm not a CPA, but I'd love to prepare a report for your CPA. They'll help you make the best decisions around the property. Would that be okay with you? So it's called a PCMA. PCMA stands for probate CMA. And again, it's one of those technical intellectual property terms that you can use to help you stand out from everybody else. And Rose, we'll look into the why you haven't received your leads. Just email support@ProbateData, please. That goes into a queue, and then either I will get back to you or somebody else. Support, I'm going to put that in the chat. There we go. Okay, now I want to share a simple overview of lead follow-up. And this is something that, and just to put in perspective of what it means, like when we started 11 years ago, there was no such thing as an online, on-demand probate data. You had to go to the courthouse, you had to wait in line, you had to pay the fees, pay for parking, deal with all that, and then maybe walk out with 25 to 30 leads. So when we started teaching this back then, we didn't have the automation that we have in place today. We didn't have access to what we have access today. And we were only really just in our own backyard, which was LA County. Now we're in 87 different counties. So what we did was we always recommended to students saying, hey, you know what, just do 25 cases a week. If you do 25 cases a week, and then 25 cases every week, you do new cases every week, and plus you follow up from the previous week, within a very short period of time, things start snowballing and you're working with a good amount of leads. So let me show you what I talk about here. So I'm going to share my screen here. Let's see here. I'm going to make this bigger, okay? All right, so this is really, these are the weeks up here. This is new and this is follow-up, okay? Okay, so if we just did 25 leads a week, week one, the total is 25. But week two, you're doing 25 new ones and you're following up with the 25 from the previous week. The follow-up could be a text message, a letter, a call, anything, right? If it's close by, it's a door knock to the PR. I know a lot of people like doing door knocking. But then you do this every week and pretty soon you notice that the total adds up quite nicely. So you notice that, and this is what blows my mind, right? This is usually when most people stop. By week 4, they're like, well, I haven't heard anything. Nothing's happening. I'm going to go back.
Gary.
Hey, Gary, we can hear you. Okay, thanks, Gary. So then right around here, people go back and they go, well, these leads aren't good. I need some new leads. And then they go back to square one over here. And then they repeat this cycle over and over again and they give up. Whereas right here, this is when things start happening, right? And also notice, like if you keep marketing, if you just do 25 leads a week, 25 leads a week, by week 5, you're working on 125 potential prospects. By week 8, you're at 200. For those of you that are overachievers, you want to do, say, 30 a week, you do 30 a week. It's fine. Do 30, but look how fast things balloon up, right? So now you're up to 240. All you did was add 5 more a week and you got 40 more potential prospects there. Hold on a second. That's okay, Gary, no worries. So this is what you're looking at, right? So if you're doing mailers and all you did was mailers, then you got to multiply this by your cost of mailers, right? But if you're doing, let's say you have an email address, let's say you have their cell phone numbers, because a lot of times we'll give you the cell phone number too. We pull email addresses and cell phone numbers wherever we can. We pull from other databases, right? You can also text them. That's another contact, right? So I just want to bring this to your attention. Like, things add up really, really fast. And if you try to manage this inside a spreadsheet, I'm just using a spreadsheet right now just to illustrate a point. But if you try to manage this inside a spreadsheet, you can quickly get lost unless you're a spreadsheet wizard. This is where like a good CRM comes into play. I mean, I hear good things about Wise Agent, Realty Juggler, KV Core. For those of you that would KW, they use Command, I believe, Top Producer. Those are some of the things that I'm hearing that people like using, and also see it in our Facebook group, in the CPress Facebook group, for those of you that are in there as well. So those are just, I just wanted to illustrate this, that this adds up really, really fast. And for those of you that are in high volume counties like Texas, like a lot of the Texas counties have high volume, like Harris has 600 leads a month. So if you did this, say you divide that by 4, if you did 125, oops. And this is for the ultra uber achievers, right? If you did 125 across the board every week, you're dealing with 1,000 within 8 weeks that you're working on, right? And if you repeat this over 16 weeks, there's 2,000 cases you're working on. And all you don't have to complicate it. All you're doing is just reaching out, checking in, reaching out, checking in. Here's that text message. Here's that ebook. Here's that mailer I wanted to send you. Just checking in. Because I can guarantee you, even if those of you on this call, most of you, many of you will quit right here. You will quit right here. This is where most people stop. Am I making sense? Can I get a yes? Okay. Or no? If you disagree, it's okay. It's okay. Just put it in the chat. Yes or no? Is this making sense? Okay, good. All right, so I just want to keep that in mind. I'll leave this up for a few more seconds. If you want to take a screenshot of this, or you want to take a picture with your camera, with your phone, that's fine too. Like I said, this is being recorded and we're about 19 minutes into it. So just go to minute 19 on YouTube and you can look at this later. Okay, now let's take a look at questions. Barbara's asking, so if one spends approximately $1 a mailer, one can easily spend $1,600 to $2,000 a month. That depends. In this example, yeah, you would be spending, let's see here. If you did a total here, yeah, if you by week 4, you're about at a, oh, I did 125. Let's redo that. I mean, you could use this table also just to kind of budget your months ahead and say, well, if I spent, I'm just going to do a quick calculation here. If I went across here in 8 weeks, I'd spend 900. I'd send out 900 mailers. If I did, let's say 25 a week new ones, and I followed with the 25 previous one, and all I did was mailers, that's 900 mailers total after 8 weeks to be in touch with 200, to have 200 contact points with 200 people total. So then you got to ask your question, is it worth it? Should I do, what if you did half of them were text messages? That takes out, $450 right there. So depending on your budget, figure it out, work with it, be creative. For those of you that think that money's going to get in the way, you got to think beyond the money. Like if you don't have a budget to mail, hit the phone. If you can't afford a phone, door knock. Okay, let's go back in here. Sharon saying, there are only 4 letters in your follow-up sequence. What do you suggest mailing after week 4? So that's a good question. So by no means are you guys bound to just what we put in the CFRES program, right? You guys can think beyond that. I can tell you what someone's doing on Facebook very successfully. She has a Facebook page of about 2,500 people. Every day she goes in and she takes a little snippet out of the course material and she says, did you know in probate, da 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 da. She just recites, regurgitates whatever's in the manual. Did you know that when filing for probate, you got to read the will first? Because so many things, by the way, I'm CPRES, here's what I do. All she's doing is letting her community know that this is what she does. So you could easily, for those of you that are UPLC and have the access to the ebook, you can take chapters out of that ebook. You can literally read your entire manual. There's tons of content in there as well. Also, just announcing to them that you are CPRES is helpful as well. You can use some of your existing marketing material that's not necessarily probate related and just make it probate related. Talk about it as probate. Talk about your expertise in real estate. Don't try to overthink it. Just start putting something out there. And I promise you, once you put that initial 25 out and another 25, you're like, man, I got to figure something out by next week. What am I going to text them? What am I going to mail them? What am I going to call them and tell? You'll figure it out. And once you have momentum, it's like a flywheel. Once you get this thing going, it just moves on its own. But it's that initial push is really, really hard. I get it in any kind of marketing, not just probate. All right, let's get into the actual looking up leads. I'm going to go in here and get it ready. All right, so here we go. I'm going to share my screen. Where'd you guys go? There you are. So we're going to try this out. Last week we had a bit of a technical snafu. We partnered up with CoreLogic. If you guys heard of CoreLogic, they're the ones that provide all the title companies with property information. So we partnered up with them, and we're pulling property information from them and putting it on, combining it with our data. So you can see when the last sale date was, the bedroom, bathrooms, the suggested average value in that area based on their algorithm. So we're going to put it all in here and the data with ProbateData. Okay, so here we go. Okay, you should be seeing my screen now. And we're going to do Riverside. So when you log in, this is what you'll see. You can watch some of these videos, or you can just go to YouTube down here, instant access. It goes to youtube.com/ProbateData. And we're just going to do a new search here. You click on new search up here. You click on your state. And we're going to do Riverside. I'm just going to select all of Riverside here. And I'm just going to see what's recent. I'm going to go back, say, a month and a half or so. Let me just do 12/1/2020 till today, 2/8/2021. See what comes up. Okay, so we got a few things here. So it looks like here, if I look at date filed, I'm going to select view all. If I look at date filed here, and then I can toggle that, and it can go between 12/1 and 1/20. So Rose, I'm going to make sure that you got this most recent batch sent over to you in your account. So if you email, again, email support@ProbateData so we can look into this for you, okay? So these are the cases that are most readily available within the last, a month or two. So let's say for Rose, for example, if she said, well, I'll go back and edit my search. She said, well, I know that I got from January 5th, for example, that's the batch we emailed her. So January 5th going forward. So what she would do is maybe, well, let me just see up until January 4th of 2021. So now she's going further back in time, looking inside of Riverside. So she's looking all December pretty much in this case. And then she hit save the search. And now we're going to close this up. Now, if you see these blue ones here, that just basically means you've previously downloaded these cases. And you can re-download them again. That's not a problem. It doesn't count towards your monthly limit of 100. And when I say monthly limit, by the way, it means your billing cycle is every 30 days, right? So it's not calendar month, it's your billing month. And then you can see here, there's, let's see, how many are there? 81. So this is a good little batch you can download. You can start marketing to them. And Rose, I'll check your account and see what was sent out to you, and I'll give you a little bonus download here if you want. I'll send a batch over to you a little bit later today. So that's how you do a search. Let's say if she went back a little bit further. And here, let's see if there's any chat. Yeah, so, okay, I see some questions. I got distracted. So let me finish this example here, and I'll go back to questions. All right, so let's say we go further back. Let's say she goes back to November 1st through January 4th. Okay, so now we're going to get a lot more of them. So we're going to get more than the 100 that she can download. So for those of you that have been with us for a while, you know where I'm going to go next with this. I'm going to start fine-tuning the search a little bit, and I'm going to do what's called an out-of-state petitioner search. So now I'm going to look for petitioners that don't live, in this case, in Rose's case, in California. Now the equivalent here, for those of you that are brand new to probate, the equivalent here is out-of-state petitioners. The equivalent is absentee owners, okay? So these are petitioners that don't live in California, but they've been appointed as a petitioner to oversee the process. And now they're going to manage this. For example, you know, grandpa's property is in Riverside, but grandson, Stewie, lives in Ohio. And Stewie's not going to fly back and forth. He doesn't want to. He's got a full-time job, a wife and a kids probably, and he's got, you know, he just doesn't want to spend his weekends flying back and forth. So he needs, you know, eyes and ears on the grounds, and that could be you. So in this case, that could be Rose, right? So how do we find these ones that are more motivated and need your services more? So you see here, I clicked on Show Advanced Search Options right here. So I click on that, and I scroll down to Exclude Petitioner State. There we go. And so here, what we're going to do is we're going to exclude California. So I'm going to put CA, comma CA, and I just do spell out California as well. There's no space between comma and the next letter. And I also put an N/A. So basically, we're just going to exclude all the things that are California. We just want to know the ones that are outside of California, so out-of-state petitioners. So I'm going to hit Save Search. And now I went from 155 to 34 entries. And this is an interesting thing you can download as well. And what's curious to me not right now is because I see the last sale date here is November of 1989, but it didn't show up in the table. So it looks like we have still a little bit more work to do on that. But here you can see, like I said before, we've got an email address, we got a phone number, right? That's the petition information. And Scott R. Shirley is the son, and he lives in Colorado, okay? So now you could do a quick download on this. Now, keep in mind, when we email you your email, your leads to your inbox, you have all this too. You just have to open up the spreadsheet and then sort by petitioner state. And then you just create a new list out of that. So in this case, we would download everything that comes in email, and you would just see that list, and then you would just sort by petitioner state column. Is that making sense? All right, let's go to the questions. Okay, Gary says, I use robocalling service, recording my voice message. It goes into the PR's voicemail with no ring. Okay, that's good. That works. What service is that? Is that Mojo Dialer? Barbara Boucher, as to a property being listed, it would show up on the MLS, saving a fruitless effort. Yes. So cross-check with your MLS when you find a property. That's good advice from Barbara. Thank you, Barbara. Terry, yeah, we're still working on this. This should have been the column. It was working on Friday when I checked, and I just slacked my program at why it's not working. You're welcome, Rose. Barbara is asking, could I use the U.S. Probate Service website as a landing page, or would you suggest something else? Let's see, Barbara. So what do you mean? So I'm guessing your profile in U.S. Probate Services, is that right? You want to use that as a signature on your emails and whatnot, or what do you have in mind?
Yes, I am trying to direct them back to a landing page, and from there, direct them over to my website with Century 21. But initially, I would like the landing page to focus on probate.
Okay, which county are you in?
Oakland County, Michigan.
Okay. So we got quite a few Michigan folks here. Great. You could because that's the thing. You want to update your U.S. Probate Service profile with a good call to action in the business description. You want to make sure they see your phone number, your email address, so that you guys know what a call to action is. Basically, after they get to the bottom of whatever you email them, it's like, okay, call me now for a free quote, call me for a PCMA, email me today. Something that just gets them like, okay, they're convinced you're the right one. You don't want to just end it there. You want a good call to action. So make sure you update your profile with a strong call to action. And also, Barb, are you with UPLC as well? Do you have that website program set up with us?
No, I don't, not yet.
Okay. So that's for those of you UPLC, you could just send people over there and they could get the free ebook and all that.
And
All
that's
right.
an excellent program.
What's that, man? What's that,
I
Barbara?
can tell it's an excellent program. Right now, I'm not getting leads, so I'm going to work on the direct mail and the phone calls.
Yeah. Excellent. I like the strategy. Very good. And then also, like what I showed you before on that spreadsheet, right? If you just take 25 new leads a week, within 8 weeks, you'll have 200 contacts that you're following up with. And I promise you, by week 4, most people stop following up. So remember, 25 new a week plus following up from the 25 the previous week. And you can see how all that just adds up. If you want to do 30, do 30, and it adds up to even more. And I showed some of you that have a bigger budget or that have a bigger county with more action. If you did 100 a week or 125 a week, you'd be at 1,000 within 8 weeks. But whatever your thing is, like just do that consistently. It's like committing to your health. Whether you want to lose weight, gain weight, you want to feel healthy, you want to get your blood sugar low, pre-diabetic, whatever the thing is that you want to work on, you don't start working on it. Let's say you want to lose weight. You don't want to start working on that. And then within 3 days, you get on the scale and you get, oh man, I didn't lose my 30 pounds yet. It doesn't happen that way. It happens a pound or 2 a week. And the first 3 weeks are the easiest because it's water weight. After that, it gets harder and harder, right? So commit to whatever the goal is and say, well, I want to talk to 200 people or have 200 contacts within 8 weeks, and just do the 25 new ones every week, 25. It's a small manageable number. You can follow up with them. You can text them, you can call them, you can mail them, you can door knock. It's just 25. And then the 25 from the previous week, you already know who they are. You know what you've done. So if you sent them a letter last week, you send them a text today. And then next week, maybe you go door knocking if you can do that, or you call them, or you use this robo-talker thing that Gary's talking about. Leave them a voicemail. 25, just 25. Anyone can do 25. If 25 is too much, then do 15. Just do something. It all adds up. And don't worry about how much it's going to be and how much it's going to end up being in the long run. If you just focus on gaining momentum, that's it. You guys all know, like if the first week in the gym is the toughest one, the second week is less tough, but still tough. By week 3, you can't wait to go to the gym. Same thing with this. Or whatever it is, like gym, walks, swims. This is your financial health, your business health, not your own physical health, right? All right. So Rose, make sure you email support at Probate Data. And then, yes, put together a budget. Like I said, I don't know what your financial situations are. Everyone's at a different scale, different level here. But whatever it is, don't make it an excuse. Don't make it a reason for not moving forward. I'll tell you the truth, how we started Probate Data. Mike, Molly, and I, we were all broke. I had about $2,000 to my name. I lost a lot in my previous business and in real estate. I was living with my mother. I'd met the woman I was going to marry, but I couldn't afford a ring. I had to borrow a diamond from my mom and buy a setting from my cousin who owned a pawn shop. It was pretty, it was there. Mike and Molly were about to be foreclosed on. And I sat in their office one day. I said, so, hey, Mike, what's this? And you have these papers, right? And he had these pieces of paper. And I said, what's this? It's like, oh, these are the worksheets we give to our students. And I think back 11 years ago. I go, what's a worksheet? He's like, well, it basically says we teach them to go to the courthouse, and then they sit down, and then they go to they see the case, and they write in all information, the PR, phone number, this, that, the other, the property address, the attorney, and then, you know, they start prospecting with that. It's like, wow, how many do you have? And he goes, well, we got about 15 of them. I said, well, Mike, what if we hired someone to do this for us, and then we could sell it online? It's like, man, I don't know. Can you do that? I said, yeah, if you can sell it, I can build it. I'll never forget that. I said, so well, if you can build it, I'll sell it. I go, well, then what do we need to do? He's like, well, how much money do you need? I said, I need money that we don't have. It's like, yeah, I agree. So what do we do? I said, well, show me this stack of paper. How many you got there? And we counted them. We counted them. We ended up with like 20. I said, well, there's 20 of them right there. That's each one of them is a great lead. Like, how much is one worth for an agent? If that turns into a listing, he goes, well, in this market, you know, this was LA, it was like $7,000 in commissions. I said, so how much can we sell it for? He goes, I don't know, like 20 bucks. I go, no, man, we're going to sell it for 150 bucks a lead per case. He's like, is that going to work? I go, yeah, it's going to work. Just hit the phone. You sell it, I'll build it. And the next day he called me. He says, yeah, I sold everything. We got $2,000 now. What can you build it? I said, yeah, I can build it. I'll put a small little team together and I hire a program. We start building it. So money and budget never gets in the way of you really wanting something to succeed. So if you have no money, there's a way. If you have some money, there's a way. If you have a lot of money, there's a way, right? You either got to put money or time into it. And no matter if you put money or time into it, you got to put your skill set into it. You got to put your talent. But always know your why. All right, I'm gonna have my pedestal, but that's basically how this whole thing started. Now you guys are paying 67 bucks a month, all you can eat, so to speak, for 3 counties. Your cost per lead is probably down at like 40 cents a lead or something like that, depending on which county you're in. And 10 years ago, it was $150 a lead. So you guys have come a long way. Good for you. Let's see, Charlotte's saying, are you only talking about the people that actually answer the phone? Or should we only consider the 25 that answer? 25, just follow up, answer the phone, don't, because out of 25, you might get nobody to answer the phone. You might get one person to answer the phone. Then you note down when you call them, what time and what day, and then next week you call them at a different time, same day. I used to do corporate sales, and I would always outsell everybody else, and they didn't know why. And I just basically, they called from 9 to 5, and I called from 8 to 6. But 90% of my sales were made between 7:30 in the morning and 9 o'clock, 9 o'clock a.m., and between 5 p.m. and 7 p.m. Because guess what? Between 9 and 5, the gatekeeper was working, and I was selling to executives. So I figured the gatekeeper leaves, the secretary leaves, gets in at 9 and leaves at 5. So I'm going to call before 9 and after 5. And it worked like a charm. I always got to the decision maker. Same thing here, guys. If you're calling and no one's picking up, then stop calling that day and that time. Call a different time. Call from a different number. All right. Gary, go ahead and email support@ProbateData. We'll take a look at it, okay? The 3 counties, let me see here. Yeah. So Gary, because I don't see your last name here, just email support@ProbateData and ask that question that you just asked in the private chat, and we'll take care of it. All right, folks, that's it for today. We're supposed to about half an hour. I went over by about 11 minutes. I hope that's okay. This has gotten recorded, and we'll put it on youtube.com/ProbateData. If you have any questions, just email support@ProbateData, requests or anything like that for next week. And these happen every Monday at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Thank you so much for showing up with your questions. And welcome to the new folks. See you next week. Bye, guys. Ciao, ciao.
Thank you.